Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy GZTV. I am here back with another NFL recap video. It is week 2, baby. Tempers are flaring in NFL. We are finally getting into the spirit of the new season. Yeah, let's just recap all the games. Obviously, later tonight, I will be recapping 2 more games, but now let's do what we can do for the Thursday-Sunday games. Starting off with the Thursday night game, we had the Eagles and the Vikings. Jalen Hurts runs for 2 touchdowns, throws for a score. The Eagles hold off the fumble-prone Vikings by 6. And had the Vikings not fumbled so many times, especially with that Jay Jettas fumble right at the goal line, I think the Vikings would have won this game. Jalen Hurts forced a throw into double coverage, one of his worst passes I've seen from him, and it was picked off. A.J. Brown, he of the nearly 1,500 yards receiving a year ago, threw a tantrum on the sidelines when the ball didn't come his way, and I thought that was pretty selfish of him, in my opinion, but I don't know. The Eagles could definitely be better, though. There's a lot of concerns around, Jalen Hurts and the rest of the team. I know they're 2-0, but don't let that record deceive you. They could have a collapse here during the season. I don't know. Kirk Cousins had a hell of a game. There's not really much the Vikings offense can do more. Maybe they could have a better run game, but they're deep. They got to stop fumbling, of course, but their output is pretty good. Kirk Cousins, 31 for 44, 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. You have Jalen Hurts, 18 for 23, 193 yards, a touchdown and a pick. And he threw a pick, but when your defense is playing as good as when the Vikings are just shooting themselves in the foot, there's nothing you can do. Obviously, Justin Jefferson, 11 catches for 159 yards. There's no complaints about the Vikings' offense besides turnovers. DeAndre Swift had 28 carries for 175 yards and a touchdown, while Devontae Smith had 4 catches, 131 yards, and a touchdown. So, pretty big offensive game here. Let's move on. Moving right along to the Packers-Falcons game, the first game I'm going to talk about every Sunday because, it's my favorite team. I'm just going to get it out of the way. What a terrible loss for us. Our defense just couldn't hold up anything. It just sucks. Bijan Robinson shines. Younghoe Koo kicks the winning field goals. The Falcons rallied past the Packers. They won by a point. There's a lot of confidence on this Falcons team. I kind of like watching them play. Their coach is great, He almost has that Dan Campbell type of energy. Yeah, my goodness. I don't know. It is what it is. Jaden Reed played a hell of a good game. That's a big positive for us. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this game. It was a pretty good game throughout. Jordan Love played pretty solid. Second game of the regular season, 14 for 25, 151 yards and 3 touchdowns. Definitely played better than any of the other quarterbacks on my fantasy team. Desmond Ridder ended with 19 for 32, 237 yards, a touchdown. He did throw a pick, but when the Packers defense is playing like they are against a guy like Bijan Robinson going for 19 carries, 124 yards, there's really not much we can do. Dontavian Wicks had 2 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown, while Drake London had another pretty solid game for the season. 6 catches, 67 yards, and a touchdown. It's not as good an offense comparing it to the Vikings game, but yeah. Now talking about the Raiders and the Bills game, Josh Allen and the Bills bounced back from a season-opening dud with a 28-point victory of the Las Vegas Raiders. The worse Josh Allen feels one week, the better he plays the next. He is a really good comeback player. When he comes off a loss, he plays really good. Good game here. Obviously, Devontae Adams got hit pretty hard, had a concussion. A little concerned there considering he's on my fantasy team, but Devontae Adams, before the injury, played pretty good. Jimmy Garoppolo came out there 16 for 24, 185 yards and a touchdown, but he threw 2 picks. Jimmy G's going to be Jimmy G. Josh Allen, 31 for 37 with 3 touchdowns. Tucker had a 34-yard run, while James Cook had 17 carries for 123 yards. Devontae Adams, before leaving the game, 6 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown, while Gabe Davis had 6 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. So, yeah, pretty decent game here at the beginning, but then, Devontae left the game, and the Bills just started beating their ass. So it was it was just kind of a beat down after that. I don't know. It is what it is. 1 second. Moving on to the Bengals-Ravens game. Another tough loss for the Bengals. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens hold on to beat Cincinnati by 3. The Bengals are 0-2 for the second straight year, though. That is something to note. Lamar Jackson did more than enough to beat the Bengals, even without injured running back J.K. Dobbins. To start 2-0 without your running back is pretty good there. Nelson Aguilar. I did not think Nelson Aguilar was on the Ravens. That's kind of wild. Zay Flowers is playing great. Starts a rookie year. T. Higgins had a game. Bengals had a punt return touchdown. I mean, Joe Burrow improved. He threw 27 for 41, had 2 touchdowns, but he did have a pick. He kind of got outplayed by Lamar. Lamar went 24 for 33, had 2 touchdowns. 237, whatever. Gus Edwards in the place of J.K. Dobbins played pretty good, man. I mean, 10 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty good stuff there from Mr. J.K. Dobbins. Nelson Aguilar had a pretty good game, 5 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown, while T. Higgins had 8 catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. He whooped my ass in fantasy. I mean, he played a hell of a game, so, yeah. Talking about the Chiefs and Jaguars game next. The Chiefs overcome mistakes to beat the Jaguars by 8 points. Kansas City's third win versus Jacksonville in 10 months. It's safe to say they own them at this point. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs insist they're fine despite another lackluster offensive effort. They've averaged 19 points a game this season. Can you believe that? I think it's even less than that. It's like 18.5 or something. Travis Kelce's back. That's cool to see. Man. I don't know. Chiefs are looking kind of concerning. I don't really have much to say. There's not really a whole lot to say about this game to begin with. Patrick Mahomes played pretty damn good, though. 29 for 41, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick. Trevor Lawrence threw 22 for 41. You get Isaac Pacheco with a pretty good game, 12 carries for 70 yards. Sky Moore, pretty solid rookie, it looks like, for the Chiefs. I mean, obviously he had some mix-ups in the first game, but he ended with 3 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown, while Christian Kirk had 11 catches and 110 yards. I don't think this is something that the Jaguars fans should be worried about, per se. I mean, you kept it within a score with the Chiefs, but I don't know. Maybe their run game could be a little better. Maybe Travis Etienne could be a little more consistent, so yeah. Next, we have Chargers-Titans, an overtime thriller here. I think there were a couple overtime games this week. I'm honestly pretty proud of the Titans for winning this game. Nick Folk's OT field goal in the rain helps Titans snap an 8-game losing streak with a 3-point win over the Chargers. That extended to last year, man. The Tennessee Titans finally got a much-needed sigh of relief, and this is a really big win. I mean, beating the Chargers like this, I mean, on the road, or no, they were home, never mind. I was going to say, on the road would be impressive. Yeah, Nick Folk, big one. Tannehill played pretty decent. Herbert and Allen played good. Tannehill ran it himself. Fucking D-Hop's disappointing me this season in fantasy. I mean, I still might start him to kind of give him some more shots at it, but Treylon Burks is just snagging his opportunities. As we get Jay Herbo throwing 27 for 41, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty quality game for both of these quarterbacks. Ryan Tannehill played great. This is probably one of his best and most efficient games in a while. 20 for 24, 246 yards, and a tutty. Talking about the receivers, Keenan Allen was on The Masked Singer. That was kind of funny. But 8 receptions, 111 yards, and 2 touchdowns was great. Treylon Burks had 3 catches for 76 yards. So pretty solid work from both of the teams, and shout out to the Titans for squeaking this one out. Seahawks-Lions. Another overtime game. Geno Smith's second touchdown pass to Tyler Lockett lifts the Seahawks to a 6-point overtime win over the Lions. Geno Smith, Tyler Lockett, and the Seattle Seahawks showed that they can still be something this year after kind of a crazy loss to the Rams. I mean, the Rams, to be fair, are playing pretty well. We can talk about them in a little bit. But yeah, Tyler Lockett went crazy this game. Trey Brown had a pick 6. Fucking David Montgomery, man. He's on my fantasy team too, and he got hurt. So, a couple injuries I'm dealing with on this side. The flea flicker from the Lions, yada, yada, yada. I wouldn't say the Lions played that bad. It's just Geno Smith was playing amazing. I mean, 32 for 41, 328, 2 touchdowns. You get Jared Goff on 28 for 35, 323 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw a pick. It was a pick 6. It was pretty costly in the grand scheme of things. yeah, I mean, both quarterbacks played pretty damn good, though, overall. DK Metcalf had 6 catches for 75 yards, while Amon-Ra St. Brown had 6 catches for 102 yards. Pretty good matchup there between those two receivers, and yeah, good win for the Seahawks. The ski mask in the locker room was great, too. This is one of the games of the week that no one really cared about, to be honest. Colts-Texans, but we're still going to talk about it because it's football. Anthony Richardson scores twice before leaving with a concussion as the Colts beat the Texans by 11. Kind of unfortunate there. Hopefully he can make it back. Indianapolis quarterback Anthony Richardson played a bit more than one quarter against the Houston Texans before leaving because of a concussion. He got hit kind of hard on that touchdown run. Gardner Minshew stepped up and played pretty good, though, I will say. I mean, he didn't play great. I mean, 19 for 23 and a touchdown, but he didn't play bad either. And honestly, C.J. Stroud played pretty damn good, too. 30 for 47, 384 yards, 2 touchdowns. I would say he had a damn good performance. There's just not much they could really do about it. So, yeah, talking about the receivers, the one thing I will say is Nico Collins was great. I'm thinking about picking him up in fantasy. The man had 7 catches, 146 yards, and a touchdown. Very consistent day for him. Yeah, Texans just couldn't get it done. Gardner Minshew came in, played acceptable, and won them the game. Man, you got to feel for Bears fans as we get into Bears-Buccaneers game here. Baker Mayfield shines again. Buccaneers stay unbeaten with a 10-point victory over a very much struggling Bears. They can't get their offensive scheme down. Baker Mayfield is determined to make the most of an opportunity to jumpstart his NFL career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He already had some pretty solid years. They built up his name a little bit on the Browns. And now here he is starting 2-0 as the successor of Tom Brady, of course. A lot of unlucky things. That PI on the Mike Evans touchdown, throwing that snatch pick to freaking Shaquille Barrett on the screen. All the sacks that Justin Fields took. And yeah, there are memes about him that he's pretty garbage. I mean, he doesn't have a great passer vision. I'll give him that. But I don't know, man. So, but yeah, Mike Evans had a monster game, of course. But Justin Fields threw 16 for 29, 211 yards and a touchdown. But 2 picks is going to cost you when you're playing against Baker Mayfield pretty much in his prime. I mean, the dude threw 26 for 34, 317 yards and a touchdown. You have to be pretty damn near perfect. I mean, Khalil Herbert played decent. He had 7 carries for 35 yards. Rachaad White had a rushing touchdown. DJ Moore had 6 catches for 104 yards. I mean, the positive from those games is that you're actually giving DJ Moore the ball. Chase Claypool's playing a little better. But Mike Evans, dude, 6 catches, 171 yards, and a touchdown. He played incredible, man. Shout out to Mike Evans. But, yeah. And this is probably one of the more interesting games to talk about this week. We had the Giants and the Cardinals. Wow. I mean, after... what is that, a 43-point turnaround after winning or losing 40-0 week 1? The Giants come back down 21-0 and win the game. I mean, Danny Dimes is here, man. He throws for 321 yards. The Giants rally from a 21-point deficit to beat the Cardinals by a field goal. On the first play of the second half, New York quarterback Daniel Jones dropped back and he did 58-yard completion to rookie Jalen Hyatt over the middle of the field, and that's really what got the momentum going. What a man. What a comeback. Saquon obviously hurt. That's a big concern, but wow. Saquon played good as hell, though. I will give that to him before the injury. But Daniel Jones, 26 for 37, 321 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw a pick, but I mean, given the Cardinals' lackluster offense in the second half, it's fine. I mean, Joshua Dobbs still played pretty good. 21 for 31, 228 yards and a tutty. Yeah, I mean, Saquon Barkley and James Conner each had a rushing touchdown. You get Jalen Hyatt with a fantastic couple of receptions, 2 of them for 86 yards. He was getting those big gains. He was making those big plays down the stretch, and he's really what allowed the Giants to walk out of here victorious. So, shout out to the Giants. Obviously, that's a bad break for the Cardinals, but yeah. Getting to the 49ers-Rams game, 49ers are a pretty interesting team this year. I mean, they're still pretty good, damn near as good as last year, but we'll see, man. I mean, 49ers forced 2 late turnovers and hold on for a 7-point victory over the LA Rams. I mean, the Rams don't look too bad, though, but winning by only 7, I don't know, man. more than a few San Francisco 49ers acknowledged they didn't know a whole lot about many of the unsung players going against them for the rebuilding Los Angeles Rams. I mean, already, I would say the Rams are having a pretty good rebuild because you got guys like Tutu Atwell, Puka Nacua, you have Kyron Williams. I mean, man, they got some pieces. Obviously, Matthew Stafford's probably going to only be there for a couple more years, and they're probably going to have to draft a quarterback. But right now, I mean, they're not in a bad spot here. You know, Matthew Stafford kind of dropped the ball a little bit, but Brock Purdy, he came out 17 for 25, 206 yards. Pretty good game there. Matthew Stafford, 34 for 55 with a touchdown. He threw 2 picks, though. I will say Matthew Stafford started the game in fantastic fashion, but, yeah, I don't know. Christian McCaffrey, 20 carries for 116 yards and a touchdown. He's going to be carrying fantasy owners all year. Kyron Williams had a rush touchdown. Deebo Samuel, my boy on the fantasy squad, had 6 catches for 63 yards. Puka Nacua making NFL history. He played pretty good as well. So Rams are going to look nice against a team doesn't have a top 5 offense in the NFL, but yeah. All right, a game I'm kind of disappointed in here. We got the Jets and the Cowboys. I thought this was going to be a little bit of a better game, but I guess, Zach Wilson. It is what it is. Dak Prescott has 2 touchdowns. Wilson, 3 picks. Zach Wilson threw 3 picks in his first start after the Rodgers injury as Cowboys beat the Jets by 20. Man, how much more hope is there for Zach Wilson? CeeDee Lamb went into the home opener for the Cowboys without new sidekick Brandon Cooks, who injured a knee in his Dallas debut a week earlier. So now CeeDee Lamb knew he had to step up because he didn't have the veteran. But Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, 170 yards and a touchdown, but 3 fucking picks. Oh, my goodness. Yikes, man. Dak Prescott, 31 for 38, 2 touchdowns. Zach Wilson did a little bit of running. 5 carries for 36 yards. That's probably not good for their running back core because they don't have shit out there. Garrett Wilson had 2 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown, while CeeDee Lamb played absolutely fantastic per usual. 11 catches, 143 yards. Dude, Zach Wilson's going to have to figure something out, man. He's doing good scrambling. It's just he's throwing 3 picks in a game. It's the Cowboys' defense. The Cowboys' defense is always going to be a tough defense. They always have a great defense in the NFL. It's just, oh, man, I don't know what to say. It is what it is. Next is Commanders-Broncos. This was a game I watched quite a bit of the second half of. Sam Howell leads a big rally for the Commanders, who hold on to beat the Broncos after Russell Wilson's Hail Mary. Obviously, some pretty shitty officiating at the end there with the missed DPI. I don't know. Washington cornerback Benjamin St-Juste didn't flinch after Brandon Johnson snared Russell Wilson's 50-yard Hail Mary touchdown pass off a double deflection with no time remaining. Ooh. I think they came back against the Broncos too. The Broncos were up like 21-3. They went on like a 32-3 run or something like that. They went crazy. Pretty dramatic game, pretty solid game. I don't know. B.J. Robinson's fantastic though. I think B.J. Robinson's going to be really special in the league. Sam Howell though, he's pretty good too, man. 27 for 39, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns. Russell Wilson threw 18 for 32, 308 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he did throw a pick, so I don't know. Russell Wilson also had 6 carries for 56 yards, so I'm sure fantasy owners are pretty happy about what he did. B.J. Robinson, man, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He played great. Mims Jr., he was damn good for the Broncos. 2 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. While Scary Terry, 5 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown. So, yeah, let's move on to the Sunday night game. Very controversial game here is the primetime Sunday night game. Dolphins-Patriots, obviously a rivalry. Tempers were flaring. Raheem Mostert runs for 2 touchdowns. Tua Tagovailoa throws for another as the Dolphins hold off the Patriots by 7. Tua Tagovailoa has hurt a lot during his NFL career about his shortcomings. Beating the New England Patriots isn't one of them. I don't think he's lost a single time to the Patriots. Man, that call at the end of the game, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. We had a really good primetime game setting up to be, and they called him short. Man, I don't know. Mac Jones tried to make a comeback, but he kept getting sacked, threw a pretty shitty interception. I don't know. Man. Pretty funny moments for Mike McDaniel, though. Tua Tagovailoa played pretty solid. I mean, 21 for 30, 249 yards, a touchdown. He threw a pick, but I mean, Mac Jones did as well. And Mac Jones' interception seemed a little more impactful. He threw 31 for 42 and a touchdown. Kind of disappointed in my guy. You know, I decided to start him over Dak this week. Probably wasn't a good idea, but I think I'm still going to get the win. We'll have to see. Raheem Mostert, fantastic game for me, though. That was my fantasy guy. 18 carries, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Absolutely phenomenal performance for him. Ramondre Stevenson had a touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 4 catches, 86 yards. He played good. He had some great catches. But yeah, I'll see you guys after Monday night or Tuesday in the afternoon is when I'm going to be putting this video up, but I'm going to be recording some more of these clips later tonight. Alright, GCTV back. We have 2 more games to talk about. Obviously, these Sunday games just got done for me like 2.5 hours ago. I went on a little scooter ride. You know, enjoyed the night a little bit, but we're here to talk about, I mean, they were close games, don't get me wrong, but am I super interested in any of these games? Not really. Tony Jones Jr. scores twice. The Saints defense shuts down the Panthers' Bryce Young on a 3-point win. And obviously the scoreboard doesn't really tell the tale because the Saints pretty much dominated the entire time ever since they went up 13-6. Tony Jones Jr. is making the most of his elevation from the Saints practice squad while Chris Olave continues to make plays for unbeaten New Orleans. And would you believe that? I mean, teams like the Commanders, teams like the Saints are 2-0, and honestly don't sleep on the Saints. I think they're a really good team. They have a pretty solid defense, pretty decent offense. Obviously, if Derek Carr can have like a Pro Bowl season, they'll be pretty damn good. And, you know, I'm not sure what Jamal Williams' status is for his injury. You guys can let me know in the comments, but I think, you know, if they get him back, that'd be huge. But Derek Carr, 21 for 36, 228 yards. You can kind of afford an interception when you're going against a rookie like Bryce Young. 22 for 33 and a touchdown for him. Taysom Hill played absolutely fantastic. 9 catches, 75 yards. He continues to be, or 9 carries for 75 yards. He continues to be one of the best utility men in the league. You know, Chris Olave, 6 catches, 86 yards, had a great game. Adam Thielen had a nice little receiving touchdown towards the end there. But, yeah, I believe that's all for that game. Getting to the last game of the week, we have the Browns and Steelers. TJ Watt's scoop and score lifts the Steelers past the Browns by 4. Amazing game for the Steelers. Defense almost lost me my fantasy week as Cleveland loses Nick Chubb to an injury once again. One of the most injury-prone players in the league. Very nasty injury. You watch the replay. It was all over Twitter. TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith knew what was coming. Maybe the Cleveland Browns should have too. It's the same thing that always seems to be coming when they visit Pittsburgh in the regular season. Pittsburgh has always been just such an amazing defense. Always had a pass rusher or a DB or something. So, great defense for the Steelers. Steelers probably were one of the better defenses this week. Very unfortunate that Nick Chubb got hurt. Very nasty injury, and it's crazy. There's a stat, you know, TJ Watt too is the leading sacker in Steelers history already. He has plenty of years to go too, so man, what a beast. Deshaun Watson, 22 for 40, 235 yards and a touchdown, but he did throw that pick 6 at the beginning of the game. That kind of hindered them for the rest of the game. Kenny Pickett, 15 for 30, 222 yards and a touchdown. He threw a pick, but it wasn't as impactful. You know, given the chance, what's his name? Jerome Ford. I mean, 16 carries, 106 yards. He fucking shined. He played his ass off. He got the opportunity, and he went off. Amari Cooper played good as well. 7 catches, 90 yards. They just weren't able to pick it up and win the game and get a drive at the end. George Pickens, amazing game. He's a young star, probably the best game of his career so far. 4 catches, 127 yards, and a touchdown. It's safe to say he's the top dog around there now. I mean, good for him. Deontay Johnson kind of lost out his number 1 spot there. I don't know if he's hurt or I don't know. But anyways, I'm out, guys. I'm not going to really have a formal outro or anything, but have a good rest of your night. I got to hit the hay. Peace out.